I'd like to welcome to the studio Stephen Dromgool, our relationship expert. Happy New Year.
Yeah, same to you. Nice to be back.
And lovely to meet you in person. Thank you for coming in. Hey, look, we were just talking about the fact Christmas has been and gone. It can be quite a stressful time financially for people, and money plays quite a large part in relationships, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for lots of families there can be this, I think of it almost like a money hangover from Christmas. And so this time of the year, people are often having some, awkward conversations when they're looking at the credit card bills or looking at the year ahead. And sometimes those conversations tend not to go very well.
Is money one of the main issues that people have in a relationship?
Yeah, it's interesting. If you look online, what you'll see is it sort of jumps between the first and second most common reason that people cite for divorce. So it's a really big issue. And I think one of the things that make it harder is that men in general have a built-in sensitivity around money because of the cultural expectations about being a provider. So we might sit there and say, well, that's very 1970s thinking, but it is still a reality in the world, in the same way that for many women appearance is an issue of sensitivity. And so it means when we go into this conversation, we might think we're talking about money, but actually something completely different is happening.
Are we good at talking about money in our relationships?
The evidence would suggest
no. Okay, so how do we approach it then?
Okay, so we have a fairly simple little mnemonic to help you remember this. It's just like a text or SMS, and basically the S is safety. And so basically if the conversation is not safe, it's not going to go well. And so we're looking at how do you start it up. And so, looking at the credit card statement said, you spent what? Not a conversation that's going to go particularly well. So we're looking at this idea of a soft startup and the time that we do it. So if we've had a couple of drinks or if, we're not feeling in a really great state of mind, it's not a good time to do it. And throughout the whole conversation, you want to be looking at tone, the way that you're talking to each other, the way you're feeling in the conversation, and if basically you always want to be looking at safety. And so if it's not working, stop, take a breath, and start again. And maybe even just, pause it for, 15, 20 minutes and come back to it, or come back to it the next day.
Is it worth actually saying to your partner, hey, look, we should probably have a chat about this. When's a good time? Should you actually almost kind of make a date to talk about money?
Yeah.
It's romantic, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a really good idea. So just setting an intention, people know it, you can clear out distraction, put the phones away and set it up really well. That's going to make a big difference. M is meaning, the message. So the message that we're looking at is money is not just an objective thing. I mean, money itself is really an idea, but money has different meanings. So for some people it means security, for some people it means competence, for some people it means freedom. And so when we're looking at the conversation and we're looking about the bits that we find hard about it, what we're looking for is what meaning does this have. And so a really good way to start this conversation would be to start off with, what does money mean for you? Why is it important? Why does it matter in your life, or in theory not matter in your life? And so if you can have those kind of conversations, that's going to alert you to what areas of sensitivity might be. So I know for myself, money often has a sense of freedom, but there's definitely a competence edge to it. So if I feel financially stressed, there's a part of me that gives me this message that I'm not doing a good job or something. And so that complicates and makes it hard to actually have those conversations in a more open way. And so one of the things that my partner might do that helps is she might say, hey, how are you doing? What's kind of happening for you in this moment? And so that's a little bit of safety, but she's doing it because she already knows what the meaning of money is in my particular situation. So you want to become like an expert on your own partner's sensitivity and vulnerability, because in good relationships, what we're trying to do is to make our partner feel safer and cared for in the conversation rather than undermined or attacked.
Okay, so then we move on to the final S.
All right, so now we get on to solving. And so often people, when they go into this, and I speak for myself, but I think men in general kind of have this idea, we want to fix problems and we want to just, race through it. And so sometimes we forget about the safety and we want to jump into solving. But the key thing here is really about respect. And so we have this thing that we do, so we'll say something like, so my brilliant suggestion is, and it's kind of like this little reminder that says, that we want to be treated with respect with our ideas. And often, like, the wackier the idea is, the more it's like, and my really brilliant suggestion is, and so it makes it safer, for the person to kind of put themselves out there, because we are putting ourselves out there when we make an idea. And then the other thing is, we want creativity. So brainstorm any idea, is okay, and it's often because really good ideas often spin off really bad ideas. Because even under a bad idea, there'll be something about it that was appealing, which is why your brain came up with the idea. And then the whole idea of fun. When people often approach money like it's this, it's really negative thing, and it's really bad. But the fact is, particularly in the West, money gives us a lot of opportunities and freedoms. So we're looking for a reward. So if you're saying, hey, we need to, budget a little bit better, or we might choose to delay a purchase or do something differently, look for an emotional payoff or a reward. And then my final thing would be to laugh. Silliness literally oxygenates the brain, and it enables us to think more creatively, to have more fun, and it builds the connection, which is what we really want to walk away with.
So we're going to have fun while we're having these conversations about the fact that
time.
You're a saver and I'm a spender, and this is never going to work out.
Yeah. And so my brilliant suggestion might be that, we buy the Taj Mahal, and then, it gets so ridiculous you can kind of laugh about it, and, and go from there.
I like the idea of, was it the message that what money means to you? Because it's quite common, these issues often arise because you might have somebody who does feel the financial weight of their situation and might get stressed about money, and the other person might be very relaxed about the financial issues, or you might have a spender and a saver. So it's about accepting and understanding what your partner is, and when it comes to being spenders. How do you kind of work through that though? What if at the end of the day you just both have completely different views on money?
So the reality is, you would expect that you would have completely different views, because we don't fall in love with people who are very similar to us. Sometimes you do, but that's more unusual. So what you're really looking for is a sense that you'll take care of each other. So if money means security, when we're in the message stage, we want to find out, so what's that about? So if you've got someone who grew up poor and there wasn't provision, or they had a time in their life where there was no money in the family, that leaves wounds, and it can leave scars. And so the reality is, what we're doing is we often replay those emotional issues. And the really cool thing is that that's an opportunity for us to have a new experience. So when we can say, look, I need to have, most of us have a number of how much money we need to have in the bank in order to feel safe. And for some people it's $50, and for some people it's 50 million. And so it's sort of working out where you are and how you can take care of each other in that space. And so long as, and that's again coming back to safety, if we can make our partner feel safe, that's the goal. And if you get really stuck on this issue, this really is a good opportunity to go and see a specialist relationship therapist. It often doesn't take a lot of time, because the counsellor's not involved in your conflict, and we've seen this a lot, so it's often easy to say, okay, that's what's happening, and we can help you kind of navigate the meaning. And then it's like, okay, you make sense, no wonder this is such a big issue for you. And then your partner feels understood, you feel connected again. That's the goal.
So SMS. Safety, meaning and solution.
Solution.
Yeah, that important one. Let's not forget that one, Stephen. Awesome, thank you. I think that will be very helpful, because I think, regardless of what time of year it is, we always get to a point where we think it would be quite good to sit down and have a bit of an honest conversation about where we're at and where we're going, and how to move forward. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Lovely to meet you. It is